There was one guy in particular, actually. I call him out, Rugger Boy. Something his username was.
Oh, well, he's a rugby fan. That's his first problem.
Got on our comments. He was like, stupidest thing I've ever seen. What a load of nonsense. Gimmicky fad nonsense. And then I went and watched Rick's review. Seen him in the comments there. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God.
He's going around the internet just blasting the sausage.
Just let it go, bruv.
Never say bruv again.
Sorry.
You referred to your old man living in Devon.
Good point. I'd like to retract my bruv.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Thank you for joining us for another hour or so of equipment chat. Joe the Pro, how are you?
Very well, Dan. Nice of you to join us.
A little bit late today. The M40, she's been a cruel mistress the last few weeks, and rainy Monday mornings.
Do you think it was weather related? It was quite.
There was actually it was a car fire. So
Oh, really?
I guess that's sort of opposite of rain, isn't it? Fire.
Quite the opposite. In fact. Yeah.
But I made it in the end, and we're happy to be here, Joe. A jam-packed episode coming up this week. We've got a bit of catching up to do. We've got the sausage putter in. She's here. We alluded to it, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, but you've used it, you've reviewed it. I'm seeing it for the first time. We're going to get more into detail about that. A couple of great Asteropods, one for me and one for you this week.
Lovely. That's exciting.
Nice.
Share the workload.
And then we will be welcoming Matt Wallace onto the podcast. Colleague, friend. He's not here now, Joe. It's been filmed already. Colleague, friend, Sam Diath. Met up with him at Wentworth in September. And a brilliant What's in the Bag with an excellent player. Fun week, Joe. How's your life been? Going well?
My life's good, yeah. What have I done? I went to the circus I was telling you about on Saturday.
I've just been hearing a lot about a local circus in North Devon and thanking the good Lord. I wasn't a part of that.
Circus Fantasia, if you want to check it out. Absolutely.
You get a sponsor, you can wear Circus Fantasia stickers.
Phenomenal. No, just act like a clown instead.
I don't think it's entered Kickpoint law yet, but a lot of our correspondence over the last few weeks has been about your car. I don't think anyone knows about your old car, and you've got a new one, and we've been talking about it for ages, and I just wanted to say congratulations, man, because you were driving around in what was something that making your life difficult.
It's a decade-old Nissan Qashqai. It was sort of been on its last legs for the best part of 2 years, really, hasn't it?
Oh, gosh, since I've known you.
And then it finally blew up on the way home from
Blew up in Birmingham.
Yeah, blew up right next to your house, actually, didn't it?
Conveniently.
Yeah. And then, they managed to nurse it home, got it to We Buy Any Car the next day. Apologies for what I've sold you there, We Buy Any Car. But
they do buy any car, it turns out.
Absolutely. Hey, you bought it as you saw it, no refunds. And now we're sorted. I'm going to take you to lunch in my new car.
It's just been fun. I got right into the process as well. I enjoyed it very much. I've been away, Joe.
Yes, you have, haven't you? What a globe-trotting... Hang on, let me try that again.
Try again.
Globe-trotting lifestyle you live. You've been some places, haven't you?
I'm a very lucky boy. And I put on our Instagram, actually, a picture. I went to see PXG in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I put something on our Kickpoint, and one of the first responses was, "You're like Judith Chalmers." And I didn't understand the reference.
Did you not get that
And then someone else called me Alan Wicker. Also didn't understand that reference. Apparently, he was an old travel
Getting another
man.
travel correspondent.
Michael Palin, I'd have understood. Rich Diawadi, travel man.
Yeah,
that was the reference.
absolutely.
Anyway, got to go away again and got to go to the most... I get to go to some very exclusive places. This felt hyper exclusive. Scottsdale National Golf Club, which PXG and Bob Parsons own.
Oh, so, right. Okay, because that was going to be my next question. I saw you, basically it was taken over, wasn't it, by PXG? But
they own it.
That's why it got taken over, I guess. Yeah, that sort of puts it together for me.
So a bit of context, Scottsdale National was a golf club before.
Yeah.
PXG, and Bob Parsons, when they became a thing 10 years ago, it's their 10th anniversary, which is why we were out there, bought it, renovated, put these villas on site. And what I effectively experience is what the public can experience for a fairly hefty fee of $30,000 is the PXG experience. With an X, obviously. There's no way. It's the experience.
Yeah.
Which you get 2 nights on course in these gorgeous villas. I'll bring up some B-roll now. They were outrageous. A fully fit set of clubs, fit and built for you on site. And unlimited golf across 3 golf courses.
So you got your fitting and they built and you played with them the following. Is that what the PXG experience would be?
Correct. That's what you could get if you go and spend this. So it's all fitted, top to bottom of the bag. And the next day, they were waiting for me to go and play golf with them. It was pretty cool.
The factory's not there, right?
Yeah, up the road. Up the road, yeah, in Scottsdale.
Okay.
Well, not in Scottsdale, but in the Phoenix metro area, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
So all built, all fitted, got to play some great golf. Played, and I've brought some little flags with me, Joe, behind us on set here. The Bad Little Nine. Had you heard about the Bad Little Nine?
Yes, you told me about it loads of times now.
Could you pretend you hadn't?
I hadn't heard about it before, but
wicked little par 3, and it is as bad as it seems, as in like bad, like naughty. like tricky, you know. It was a fiddly little girl.
Desert golf in general is something I've not... Have I done it? I don't think I have probably.
It's
something
pretty cool.
I just think it looks so cool. Like obviously very man-made, the man-made elements of
course,
how much water
right.
it takes to keep a golf course that green. But the contrast between the desert areas and the grass, it just looks really cool.
It's really special. Played the other course there, which was, it had a 220 yard wide fairway. It was a good laugh.
That's
it was
my cup of tea, that is.
There's the other course is called the Mine Shaft there, which I think is a little tougher, but it was a great time. And
we're equipment, Dan. Hang on, go on.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what we're going to get to. What they did, PXG, for the first press trip I've ever been on. So this is all embargoed products. I'm not actually going to talk about it right now. However, if you head to our Instagram channel, they let us take pictures and give you the name of it. I'm not allowed to do that on long form content, so I'm not going to do it now.
What about if we stop the podcast now with that class as short form content?
Yeah, just a 6-minute video. So I can't say anything, but they let us take pictures and share the information. They weren't like, oh, don't share it, or don't show it to the embargo lifts. Oh, no. Yeah, take pictures, show about it. Let's get people talking about it.
Get it out there,
So you can go and see the new drivers, which we'll be talking about at the start of December. It's quite an early embargo. And the new irons I got fitted for, which we'll hear about in January. You're going to go see them tomorrow in South London.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
And it's very exciting. I've got to say the Woods and Hybrids I'm really excited to talk about. So it was a good trip with some good equipment, Joe.
We know how our bosses think of us, don't we? You go to Phoenix, I go to Esher. Esher? South London.
Oh, bless you. Where are you off to in December?
Same place as you now.
Well, yeah.
So I was on a lovely little trip to Pinehurst, and Dan's wheedled his way in as well. So there you go.
Oh, I'm a bad bloke.
Old Chalmers.
But yeah, excited to talk about the PXG stuff. And head to my Instagram if you want to go get a little sneak peek of what's coming in the next few months. I'm not going to say the name and break the embargo. Embargoes are stupid because why can't I say the name now?
And also, yeah,
I mean, go and see it. It's online.
I get the wanting to protect the tech.
Yeah, so I couldn't talk.
Do I?
No, I couldn't talk about the tech. Exactly.
Yeah, so
not even on when I was at the event.
Surely you want the name out there. Surely you want the buzz and the imagery. That makes good sense.
Paid for them to go over there. Why wouldn't you? You've got all of Gathered Golf Media.
But
there.
even the tech, like it's not like they're going to release this whatever the tech is, which you've told me about, and the other brands are going to go, oh, hang on. We better do that and knock something up in a fortnight. Like it takes over a year to get this stuff together, doesn't it? So,
and it's weird because the thing that I think, well, I'm speaking for everyone watching and listening, that we actually care about is how it looks and what the name is. I don't care about the tech.
Well, I do, but you don't, do you?
Terrible to
but
say
you were
on the Golf
impressed,
Equipment
right?
Podcast. Really impressed. Woods and Ferries especially. They're stuck at Stansted, my clubs. They're getting shipped back, but they've got stuck.
Oh dear.
I know. Tough life I lead.
Must be really long. What are they stuck in? Sorry, carry on.
This is what we're doing today, isn't it? Crap dad jokes.
Carry on.
One thing I want to plug, Joe, because I want to do it right at the start of the episode while you're all still watching and listening. Rolling Stone, music magazine.
Yep.
Heard of them much?
Yeah.
They did a cool piece, the top 250 songs of the 21st century so far. It was really interesting. Got loads of chat online. I read the whole thing. But it inspired me, Joe.
Where are you going with this?
You and me
should
put together a list of the top 20 clubs.
You're going to say 250.
Not the top 250 clubs of the 21st century, but the top 20 clubs of the 21st century. We've had some preliminary talks on what we want to discuss, but we need you, the listener and the viewer, to help us with the nomination process. So right now, get down in the comments. If you're listening, find us on Instagram, wherever, text us. Some of the clubs you think we should be in the discussion for the top 20 of the 21st century.
Are you looking to categorize these, or these are just the top 20 clubs?
Top 20 clubs.
Okay, cool.
So no categorization.
Interesting.
The broad spectrum of clubs. It can be, were they groundbreaking? Were they just effing brilliant? Did you like them? Are they culturally significant? These things will come into play. But we need nominations to get ourselves started. We'll film this in a month or so's time. So let us know ASAP, please.
Like it.
Thank you. Breaking news, Joe. TaylorMade. The Kingdom is coming to the UK. Did you see this?
I did see this. This is very exciting because we obviously went out to California this year, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
On one of your many trips. And we went to the US Kingdom. And loads of people have seen this on Trotty's videos, on TaylorMade stuff. And it's basically just mecca of fitting, isn't it? For the brand, where you've got everything available for the brand, every head, every shaft option, workshop on site, locker rooms, great range, the best tech, the best fitters, product specialists, and we're going to get it in the UK, and it's going to be at the Grove, isn't it, in Watford?
Yeah, really exciting. I'll bring some B-roll up now for those watching. Head to Instagram if you're listening, because they've set out some sort of preliminary designs of how it's going to look. It looks stunning. 3 fitting bays that are indoor. We'll need it here in the UK. Putter studio, a workshop, even a gorgeous waiting room with some of the Sunday Red apparel, which you can't really get out here, or at least see in person in the UK. It looks stunning. It's going to have everything you ever need. I do think the UK is slightly short of premier outdoor fitting facilities. Would you agree?
I would, but I wonder whether this is a slight reaction to the Titleist facility at Woburn.
Absolutely.
Because that's brilliant. We've been down there for a few things, haven't we? And from a content opportunity for the brand over here in the UK, it's a beautiful place to film content. It's a great place to take your players. So players that are on staff when they're over in the UK. Every time I've been, there's been, whether it's been even not staff players, like Justin Rose has been there, Adam Scott. Who else was there?
It's a really nice hub for their players, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think fascinating, and also, I guess what the main difference is. What are the main differences to a normal fitting centre? Because you can go to the Belfry, Celtic Manor, where I used to work, other places, and you can get fit for this product. But I think the main differences that I can tell are, as I said about the US Kingdom, you're going to get more equipment. So even the sort of the premier fitting facilities for each brand maybe don't have the room to stock every single option in and different lengths and different pre-built clubs when they've got bonded hosels and things like that. This will have everything. Basically, as we saw at the Kingdom, you've got genuine, I mean, again, I don't want to diminish other fitting centres because that's not what I'm here to do. But for example, when I worked at Celtic Manor, we were fitting for Ping, Callaway, Titleist, TaylorMade, A&R, PXG, I think at one point. So you've got a lot to know about a lot of brands there. Whereas if you're going and you're going to pay what undoubtedly will probably be a bit of a premium for a member of the public to use this facility, what you're getting is genuine product specialists who know every little intricate detail about every setting. And so that's going to be an interesting thing. But for me, the big differentiator there is the workshop. So have like a tour level workshop on site where you can be bending loft and lies during your fitting. You can add hot melt. You can potentially build and take away your clubs in your PXG style even the same day. Things
That's so
like
exciting.
That. It's really, really cool. And I think there'll be some, hopefully, if we stay on good terms with TaylorMade, hopefully there'll be some good content opportunities down there, guys. That'd be really fun. Guys. It's very podcasty.
But it's really exciting for, I think, the general public. And my only concerns are very strong words because it's golf equipment. There aren't real concerns here. But if I was actually a member of the public right now who was in the market to buy clubs, it's weird because I haven't had to be since I've started working here. But my question would be, do I like...
Careful about that. That will sound like you're bragging. I got an email about when I said I didn't have to buy clubs. Some guy lost his head with me saying how gloaty and disrespectful it was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to gloat. It's just my job.
I'm glad it's not affected you in any way.
Yeah, well, anyway. Go on.
My sort of concern would be, do I know I like TaylorMade equipment enough to go for a fitting where I am stuck with that brand? And I say stuck, and that makes it sound negative. But what I mean is I can only choose from that brand. How do I know as a consumer that I actually just want to go and get fit, whether it be TaylorMade, whether it be Titleist here in the UK, just for that brand? I completely agree that I think the benefits of having one person who's a complete specialist in that brand might then tip the balance of the scales. But I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. It's one we used to face a lot. Like I said, at Celtic Manor, when I used to work there, we'd have, for example, Studio 1 when I was there was a Titleist studio, and Titleist are paid to kit that out and paid for the TrackMan and things like that. 2 was TaylorMade, 3 was Callaway, 4 was Ping on and off. And when you're booking people in for a fitting session, you ring up and say, just after a full bag custom fitting, please.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to, by virtue of the schedule, you've got to house you somewhere and book out a studio for that particular pro. So we were having to, on the phone, say, who do you want to be fit for?
Before they'd even
it's a nonsense.
Gone in. That makes no sense.
And it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to try everything. And it's kind of like, we can't do that. Unfortunately, we've got to book a room And then maybe if we're not interrupting some other fit, I could maybe grab some other options out of the other rooms potentially, but I can't promise that.
Someone else will be getting fit in there and I can't nick their demo head off them.
Exactly. So that was really difficult. So the only really key way to get around that, if you're absolutely adamant you want to try everything, is independent fitting centres like your Precision Golf, for example, where totally brand agnostic, you're in the bay and you've got every head and every shaft combo there. That's the only way to do it. But there is plenty of people that are just total brand loyalists. We see it all the time where people are playing 14 clubs throughout the bag because they want everything to look uniform and they just like a particular brand.
Yeah,
that's something that's done. And I don't think this isn't going to replace those fitting centres. This is just going to be a complimentary sort of cherry on the cake. I guess it's tough to describe, isn't it? But it'll be primarily for elite level players, I think. So the elite amateurs, they're trying to get onto Team TaylorMade, their staff players, etc., and people who just want that top
to have that experience. And we've been lucky
yeah.
enough to have it, and it is unbelievably fun when you get to one of these fitting centres and get an expert getting you fit. And TaylorMade and Titleist, I'm using these two brands as an example because they're the ones now with these specialist fitting centres in the UK, will argue that we've got a matrix of clubs that can fit any golfer. And you're not, just because it's one brand doesn't mean you're pigeonholed into this or this. It's just that you're in one brand where you end up on that scale of iron head or driver head or what we fit into. We have the facilities and the matrix to fit you perfectly.
Yeah, exactly.
You just can't compare it against other irons on the market. And that's for you, I guess, the person getting fit to decide whether that's okay for you or not. How do you weigh it up?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? We've left Ping out, by the way, because Ping have got Gainsborough. Don't forget.
Gosh,
we
sugar.
About
That's
that.
not good. It's not quite. It's not as flashy as Titleist or TaylorMade will be.
That's sort of Ping's MO, isn't it? It's
100%.
They're not going to open a bespoke fitting centre with razzmatazz, and it's just like, right, here's all our stuff, here's where it's housed, it's brilliant.
And that's all built in Gainsborough as well, so that can be built for you at the time.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the early adopter of it, and yeah, it feels like the TaylorMade one's just got a little bit more razzmatazz to it,
as you'd expect with TaylorMade, wouldn't you? But let us know. I'd like to hear what the listener, the viewer thinks about.
When's it opening? Spring
2026 at the Grove, which is, for those who don't know, North London, sort of Hertfordshire way, isn't it?
Watford, yeah.
Watford, beautiful. So yeah, let us know about what you think about sort of brand-specific fitting centres like that and whether that's something that interests you or not. But undoubtedly for the UK, for the golf scene, very exciting to have the Kingdom come over. One really quick caveat. This might be a controversial take, but did you find the Kingdom in California, the actual driving range was a little claustrophobic? I was expecting a big expanse of land, but plenty of room to hit your drivers on there and all the best in the world have been fit there. Did you find it a touch claustrophobic?
I didn't. If I was having a wedge or an iron fitting, it would have been fine, but it kind of funnels in, doesn't it? The further up the range you go, and I've seen a couple of things. There was a guy, I think Trotty was fitting a guy called Mason Green, who was like 130 mile an hour clubhead speed. He was just launching it straight over the range onto a road. And yeah, it's quite a tight outfield. I mean, yeah, I think claustrophobic would be a good word. And I was losing a few right early on, which concerned me. But
we got there in the end.
We got there in the end, indeed. But yeah, it is a little claustrophobic, but they won't have that issue at
no, not by the looks of it, no.
Yeah, I've seen I assume, I think I can picture where it's going on the range. And the range there is nice and wide and expansive, holes either side as well. So
exciting to see. Oh, there's a cool like wedge short game area going in as well. It's very cool. Go check it out. Good for you, TaylorMade. Right then, test this week, Joe. And we alluded to this a couple of weeks ago. It has taken the internet by storm. You've done a review. Rick's done a review. We've got loads of traction on our socials when we post about it. The video did well on the Golf Monthly channel. We keep getting messages about it. Sausage Golf. It's kind of taking the equipment world mini by storm. It's having its moment while we're in a little quiet period at the minute. We alluded to it a couple of weeks ago, but we've got it here now in person. I'm checking it out for the first time. You've actually been out there using it. Tell people what it is in case you don't know, and then talk me through your experience. I can't wait to hear it, even though I know already because I watched the video, but that's fine.
El Source, yes. So Sausage Golf is it's the first. I mean, many people will say you should check this one out, check that one out, but the first, to my knowledge, fully modular putter, which allows you to take the shaft in and out, pop it in different areas. It's got pre-cut areas where you can screw it back in to create a true face balance putter, a zero torque or low torque, as they call it, because they didn't want to get caught out by the zero torque police. Toe hang putter. And also you can flip it around and do it left-handed. There's also another setting that I missed. That Luke Hanlon, I think, on Instagram has been popping his in, where you can actually go this way, Dan. You can take the piece out the center remove that one, slide it all the way across there, so you can have rather than a heel shafted putter, you can have a toe shafted putter, and then the ball sits on the inside of the shaft. I've seen it done before, and it looks quite cool on this. We'll do that in lunchtime. That's something to look forward to.
Gosh. Just want a minute off talking about
lunch.
Just want a minute off talking about golf.
Cancel lunch. We're gonna do that. But yeah, it's I really enjoyed it. Honestly, when it came through, I was surprised. I always say premium, but I'm going to say it again. I was surprised
super premium
how super premium the finish was. Really classy. You know how I love a bit of engraving with no paint fill. I think that's one of the classiest looks you can go. The murdered out all black grip, shaft, head combo. The alignment aids are really good. And the feel is excellent. It feels exactly like the lab putters I've had, because it's the same, I call it 6061 aluminium, I think it is, and feels really, really similar. Hugely divisive in the comments. There's so many people like, this is absolute brilliant. Where's this been? This is genius. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. There's a few people just like, ridiculous. What's the point? Why would you want to putt it that you can shift around into profiles that don't suit you? Which I thought I addressed in the video. And like plenty of the top players in the world are changing torque profiles on a semi-regular basis. They're trying out zero torque. They're trying out toe hang. There's a lot of people that think, no, that it's like your DNA and your blood type. That's what you are. You are a heel shaft. You need toe hang in that stroke. And I don't believe, I think it's a little bit more fluid than that. So I think it's a really cool tool for that. There was one guy in particular, actually, I call him out, Rugger Boy, something his username was.
Oh, well, he's a rugby fan. That's his first problem.
Got on our comments. He was like, stupidest thing I've ever seen. What a load of nonsense. Gimmicky fad nonsense. And then I went and watched Rick's review. Seen him in the comments there. Stupidest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God.
He's going around the internet just blasting the sausage.
Just let it go, bruv.
Bruv, never say bruv again.
Sorry.
You're a 42-year-old man living in Devon.
Good point. I'd like to retract my bruv.
Strike bruv from the record.
Yeah, so really divisive, but I think that's almost to its credit. I mean, if you're the guys that made Sausage,
they've had some cracking traction online. It's getting honestly, the people talking.
Yeah. All publicity is good publicity, and just creating that sort of level of conversation and division. I just think I'm really impressed with it. I mean, you're going to nick it today, aren't you? And you're going to go and try it for a bit, aren't you?
Me and my dad have been talking about it a lot, so I'm going to have to steal it from you. We'll have it for a month or so, and we'll come back. My first thoughts were aesthetically agree with you, just gorgeous. Alignment's great. I'd prefer an alignment. They obviously can't have a line running through the entire head because you're moving the entry point in the shaft, which is a little frustrating because I'm so used to a line that runs all the way through. Yeah. So that might be a bit tricky. But the what's the word? Parallel adjacent
to the leading edge. I think that's a nice one.
That helps you keep the fair.
So there's a lot of people who don't necessarily use the flange line to align the putter. Some people are big leading edge people, and just to have that leading edge highlighted in that bold white, I think is really good as well.
I think it needs it as well because it's such an all black head. I'm amazed with how well on the top of the head here. I'll have to put some B-roll up of this instead. But you know where you're changing the shaft, right?
Yeah.
The entry point. How that, when that's down by the ball, it disappears. What doesn't disappear are the screws on the bottom, which that must have been really tough from a design perspective to get right. I think it's okay, but like it feels a little bit like that could be refined as it goes down the line. I'll say it
again. You're pulling that out of you're taking the head cover off, and you're probably not even looking at it when you take the head cover off.
No, yeah.
And then it goes down into the playing position. So it's by the by. But I take your point. But there's probably not a great way of hiding that mechanism, is there?
But I'm more impressed with the way that's been hidden on top, which is vital. Because if that wasn't hidden on top, that was what I was worried about. It's going to be sections all over it that I'm just bothering my eye.
And you're looking for it now, and this is beautifully well lit, and you can barely see it. When you get it out onto the golf course and you start hitting a few putts, it completely disappears. It's really impressive. One thing that probably should note, you
talk about that. So the first thing that I did is I put it on the ground, just to have a look at it from behind the ball, and it immediately bang sat at about 45 degrees open, toe backwards.
So this is something that Rick picked up in his review, and I think Rick picked it up because he was indoors on carpet like this with it's very firm and has got no give. And I see it all the time when I'm take a putter out weirdly in the kitchen or something like that, and I'm just
standard,
whatever. I'm cleaning my clubs and I lay my putter down. Putters lay really strange on hard floor because there's no friction. There's nothing to support certain areas of the putter. But when you take it out onto the putting green, on a natural surface, it's got a bit of give to it and some longer blades of grass. they generally sit very, very different. And that's what I found. So I did all my testing out on a real green with this. And I noted in my review that it sits nice. You didn't get the wobble. It stays where you want it to stay. So I think that's just something I picked up on in the review that I saw that Rick did, and I get that. And like you say, you can see it here when you put it on the floor
straight away. But I think if you took any other putter, it would probably do it as well.
But it's by design.
Never spotted it. It's by design, is it?
It's by design because they've taken out this back area. They've not kept it flat along the bottom, so they've tapered up the back area in an attempt. Sometimes if you get a putter that's really wide back to front and it's all at the same level, it can snag up on the way back. So they've raised the back edge to allow you to take it away smoothly. Like I said, I didn't experience any of that wobble when I got it onto a putting green. So unless you're putting on carpet tiles or hard floor, I think you should be absolutely fine with that. And yeah, I just overall super impressed. Not necessarily saying it's the start of a revolution, but I think it's a really cool option. And for me, why it's caught so many people's eyes, that render they did of the chaff coming in and out, really absolute gold dust for them that has been. But also just from a tester's point of view, just to get your hands on something different, like something that's not tweaked and refined and whatever. You know, there's very minimal changes between a lot of models of everything that I test on a regular basis. So to get something completely different to have a little play about with, it was very
and you
impressive.
It rolled well, did it? Rolled nice in the greens?
Sausage rolled very well down,
And
yes.
what setting did you primarily enjoy it the most in for you?
I enjoyed it in this setting, in the centre shafted setting, which is why probably I've ended up leaving it in that. The low torque setting, again, really stable for me. I didn't enjoy the toe hang. I never like feeling rotation in the face. I like seeing as square as humanly possible. But yeah, before I do hand it over, I do just want to flip it into that, sticking it on the toe side.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's cool. We'll see what that looks like.
Having a little play with that. But yeah, really cool. And it's nice to see just a small startup coming up with something so cool and no doubt developing some real traction, which is
good
nice.
For them. Good for Sausage Golf, and it's been fun to be a part of that because I know there haven't been many samples going around the UK. So thank you to Dave.
Yeah, Dave Rolls.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Rolls, Sausage Rolls. That's why it's sausage, isn't it?
You got it.
Boom. It's all been well thought of, hasn't it? That's enough on sausage for the last few weeks. However, in a month or so's time, I'll have to report back after I've had a little play with it, which is fun.
See if it works the same left-handed.
Right then, it's time for our favourite part of the show. Hopefully yours as well. Johnny boy, let's ask the pod.
He was quick there, wasn't he?
Very quick. First thing in the morning. Ask the pod. Ask the pod. Ask the pod.
Ask the pod.
Ask the pod. Ask the pod. Hey, Joe. Johnny even. You're Joe.
I have no idea what question's coming because we had this planning meeting, didn't we? And then we
have these planning meetings and then you forget they ever existed.
No, I said to
you...
We
spend an hour with each other. I'm going to get my phone.
But I said to Dan, I felt one of the early episodes was a bit heavy on content. We spread it and then we spread it and I forgot to adjust my sheet. So this is exciting for me as much as it is for you.
Right, well, I've got to find the Instagram comment. I made a mistake. Joe.
Go on.
There he is. Dan Cook's been in touch on Instagram. This is before we actually get to Ask the Pod. And we were talking a few weeks ago about tolerances and the real lofts of clubs and drivers. And that got the people talking. So Dan got in touch with us on Instagram at KickPointGolf, if you'd like to follow. Now, I can't name the brand that's involved in this story, so I will keep that clear of our minds. Dan knows who he's on about. Hello, KickPoint. Listening to this week's pod.
Can you show me?
Yeah, I've got you. Them.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Hello, Kickpoint. Listening to this week's pod and Joe giving in-depth on drivers' stated loss versus actual measured loss really struck a chord. As an independent club fitter and builder with a digital loft and lie machine, I generally explain to my customers that, particularly with irons and wedges, that the stated loft on manufacturer spec sheets don't always equate to what comes through in the post. I urge every customer to come in for a follow-up session when they get their new clubs so that we can dial in the loft and lies to what I actually fit them for. That's very good customer service and fitting, Dan. Well done. For context, I had a customer who ordered the new irons, standard lofts 1 degree upright. Every single iron in the set was at least 1 degree strong in loft versus what brands state on their website. And the lie angles differed from standard to 2.5 degrees upright, exploding emoji head. Rightly so, Dan. Really interesting. Thanks for your correspondence. Because it's interesting to hear stuff like that. We spoke a lot about, our chat was mainly about driver specs. Irons as well are
I've been, truth be told, I've never had much of a problem iron wise, and I've maybe been taking that for granted, and I've not been measuring unless I get something on the launch monitor and I see something funky, and I'm like, crikey, these are long, or why is this going so high? Then I will go and check it. But generally speaking, I've been taking that as given. But I think that might be good practice moving forward, just to, as soon as any samples come through, just cross-reference it and make sure it's what it is, so I can report directly and accurately on the data, but also just as keeping an eye on any anomalies.
But I just like the idea of when you get fit for clubs, going in and having just to check. And you never know, you might want to, let's say the irons do arrive in the exact spec you got fit in, but you have a little hit with the fitter, and actually we should just tweak them on upright. Brilliant. What a great idea that is.
Yeah, so precision golf. I know we always talk about precision golf.
Precision golf. We like precision golf. We love precision golf.
Benchmark for me, certainly in the UK, and all sessions resulted, unless there was kind of extenuating circumstances where you're miles away, etc. But if there was the opportunity, all the fittings would end with a collection session. So you have your fit in, you go away.
100%.
James or whoever in the workshop would call, clubs have arrived, can we book you in for a collection session, half an hour, particularly with irons, it was always a good idea. Exactly what you're saying, you come in, we know they're built to the right spec because they've been built on site. We know they're built to exactly what was fitted, but you might want to go through the irons and for a little gapping session, just check, okay, have we got the increments where we need them to be in MPH and yards here? No? Okay, well, let's just weaken that one off because we need to cover that yardage, and just absolutely finely fine-tune those clubs, and you know you're going away with a perfect set. It's really good practice.
Love it. And thanks, Dan, for getting in touch. And kick pointies, as always, check the loft.
Check the loft.
Hashtag check the loft. Was there no T and H on the board to put?
There was a T and an E, but there was not an H, so I had to go with dut instead of
That's
the.
Fine. That's fine, bruv. Very good. The actual Ask the Pod this week comes from Mick Fields. Hi guys, really enjoying the podcast. Since you're reading this email, I will be cheeky and ask two questions, one for Dan and one for Joe. Dan, can you recommend a pair of shoes? My current FootJoys have a really thick sole. I want something with good traction, a thin sole, and also wide. I'll come on to that in a minute. Actually, let me do that now because yours is fairly heavy here.
Remind me of mine.
Fine, I'll read it. Joe, given the data available to us regarding golf balls, I was wondering...
Got it. Carry on with yours.
Well, I've got to read it. I'm halfway through it.
Okay, go on.
This isn't a planning meeting. The cameras are on.
Fine. It's fine.
Given the data available to us regarding golf balls, I was wondering how we can interpret driver backspin, and in particular, how it links to lateral dispersion. I realise spin axis tilt is a variable within this, but surely a high spin ball will lead to greater dispersion. Does the choice of ball even influence spin axis tilt?
Who's going?
Well, I think you should go because that's quite a dense subject, and let's roll straight into that.
It's not as dense. I'm gonna de-dense it. So I got in touch with the man, the myth, the legend, Chickenhead from Titleist. Bagark, indeed. The man is reluctant to be named and reluctant to ever come on the pod. We'll crack him eventually.
Good.
If we talk
Was that
about
intentional?
Crack him
really
like
good.
an egg. Very
really
good for me. Yeah, very good. We're
like
going to crack you, Chickenhead. So he used to be, so he's a general on-tour fitter now, but he used to be a ball specialist for Titleist. So he was a good guy to ask about this. And this is something I was genuinely a bit curious about because I've always not been great on balls. I've told you this for a while. I'm far more into the club side of the game than the golf ball side of the game. But yeah, so I had a couple of schools of thought. One would be, I've always said spin is your friend. If the more backspin you get on the golf ball, the straighter it's likely to fly, because the more time it's spent spinning backwards, the less you're likely to tilt that spin axis. It's why your pitching wedge goes straighter than your 3-iron, for example, would be one of my takes on it, right?
Because spinning, I learned this a while ago now in our old studio, months and episodes ago, that it's the tilt of the ball that causes the ball to go left to right or right to left.
Do you want to reignite the debate again?
Can you? Yeah.
Right, let's do it again. Social clip coming up.
Ready?
There's no such thing as side spin in golf. It is always spinning backwards and it's just slightly tilted. I would suggest that if that tilt got beyond 45 degrees, then that could be going in the realms of side spin, but it never does. So it's not side spin, it's just a tilted spin axis of the ball spinning backwards.
And that's what's causing my balls to go left or right, is
Correct,
the tilt.
Yeah. And it will generally vary, like an extreme spin axis might be 20-something. but it's still generally going fairly end to end over backwards. But as soon as that spin axis tilts off to the right, due to, what did he call it? The Magnus effect. Which, if you've not looked at it, get on YouTube and look at the Magnus effect.
We're getting sciencey here on Kickpoint the Golf Quiz Show, and I'm scared.
I didn't have a ball to demonstrate. Don't need to demonstrate that.
You've not got a ball.
Just
with
look
you.
up the Magnus
somewhere.
effect. Yeah, it's ball. Get one out of your little packet there. Strike.
That's empty.
That's a prop. That's disappointing.
Oh no, we got some Malbon balls for some reason. Yeah.
So that's what's happening. So, but basically, my take on it was obviously the more it's spinning, the less it's likely to go offline. But in theory, once that spin axis is tilted, if you do tilt that off, then the more revolutions you have on that golf ball, the more enhanced that curvature will be. So I was thinking, if you're trying to straighten out your slice, do you want a ball that spins more? Because we know spin's going to help you keep it straighter. If you are someone that does tilt that spin axis, the spinnier ball you use, in theory, the more curvature you're going to get, unfortunately. So if you're trying to neutralize that shot shape, then the lowest spinning golf balls you can find will be certainly beneficial to that. But you've got to weigh that up with the performance degradation in other areas of your game around the greens, for example, holding greens, etc., and things like that. But yeah, the only way a spin axis would be tilted, other than what you do to it with your club face and your delivery, would be if the core and the inner material isn't centered, which apparently you see a lot more than you might think, which is why some of the top ball manufacturers are absolutely adamant that their ball is the pinnacle, because it's not the pinnacle.
You're on one today,
I am
son.
on one. I don't think their premium ball is the pinnacle or ever was the pinnacle, but that's an option because it's a very low spinning ball for reducing your slice. So that's a good segue as well. But yeah, we've seen. I went to the ball plant at TaylorMade in South Carolina, and the level of detail you have to go through to make sure these things are exactly the right thickness, exactly centered within the housing, the same amount of paint, the grooves not getting filled up with different amount of paint to keep the aerodynamics the same. There's an awful lot that goes into golf balls, which is why it probably scared me learning too much about, because it's very, very sciencey. But basically, can I get into Magnus effect?
Yeah, no, please do. I'm here for it.
So did I send you that YouTube?
Yeah,
you definitely didn't watch it.
I knew
well, it's 3 minutes long.
Yeah, I've got a life to try and lead.
3 minutes I asked for. Crikey Moses. Right, so this is David the editor's gonna love this, because I can do some arrows.
Oh no. Sorry, David.
Do you reckon David's got arrows in his locker? Probably.
Johnny says probably.
So if we've got this ball and we're looking straight down the camera here, and it starts tilting the spin axis somewhat. Imagine it's spinning sideways, but it doesn't spin sideways. Well, the air, if I'm shooting it that way, or shall I go that way?
Go toward the camera.
Right, if I'm shooting it towards you and it's spinning sideways, if you like, then the air resistance is coming at me because the ball's traveling towards you. So it's working with the ball on this side. So it's coming this way and the ball's spinning in the same direction. Caught it.
Ball down.
But it's got an opposing force because it's going against it this way. And that's that opposing force that pushes it in a certain direction, which is where the spin axis comes from. The video that you didn't watch is of a guy at the top of a dam just dropping a basketball off the dam with no spin, just dropping it straight. And it has a little wobble in the air, but it goes down. The second part of that, he then just pops a little bit of backspin on it and drops it down. And this thing goes down for about, 40 yards. And then just all of a sudden, the Magnus effect takes off, the resistance, and it must end up 300 yards further away from where it started because the resistance on the air. So that's basically what happens.
It's a good visualization of it, I imagine.
In the air. And as such, if you want to straighten out your ball flight, a lower spinning golf ball will be beneficial according to Chickenhead.
And to Mick's point here, sorry if you're listening, by the way, maybe want to come and watch, but hopefully you're getting an idea of it still. Does the choice of ball influence spin axis tilt, or is that purely on your delivery?
Purely on delivery, unless there's a manufacturing fault. But a lot of the higher end ball manufacturers would suggest if you start cutting open some golf balls.
We should do that. We don't do enough cutting up.
Do you know what? I was
balls.
on a meeting the other day here where it was authorised to get some scissors.
Get in
proper
there.
Ball
work sanctioned scissors.
So going to start, getting some receipts for that. But we've seen it all, probably all seen it before on My Golf Spy and things like that, where they're cutting these balls and you can see some seriously off-centered work.
Because I'm fascinated to do, and we hear it from Titleist, TaylorMade, Bridgestone. Who else actually makes their own balls? Callaway, right? These are the cream of the crop. And then we keep seeing Maxfly balls. Tour Edge have started making golf balls. Vice are making golf balls. Where are they all coming from? Maxfly don't have...
just put your hand out. Can you always going to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up. Where are they all coming from, Joe? They must all be coming from the same factory. I want to see this factory. So I think we're going to A, do some digging into where all the balls come from that aren't from these big boys, and B, get your work-sanctioned scissors out and have a little cut.
Yeah, I think, delving a little bit deeper will be interesting. I think, again, interesting for me because it's something I've neglected for years. So it'd be a bit of a voyage of discovery. We'll all learn together. But there is elements of... Bryson's big on this, isn't he? So Bryson goes more into golf ball than anyone else. He's been searching for his new ball that goes straighter because at his speeds it's very difficult. But he does those things like he balances his balls in Epsom salts, doesn't he? Where he puts them in the salt, waits to them to get to their natural centre, will mark... I'm so sorry about Dan, everybody. Will mark the point on the golf ball where it's perfectly balanced and will only tee it up or putt in a certain orientation. Then furthermore... he finds the correct... I probably should have looked into this more before.
It's okay, you're down the path now.
He looks at certain dimple patterns on the ball and he never wants to strike the edge of the dimple with a putter blade because if you strike the edge of a dimple rather than a flat point, it's got potential to squiff off a little bit sideways. So he's actually marking tiny little dots on where he wants to strike that golf ball. So he won't line it up necessarily with the logo pointing where it should be because that could be completely printed different to where he wants to strike it based on his Epsom salts and his dimples. But
he's neurotic, isn't he?
He is. Do you know what? I'm getting more on it. We'll get into this on another rep where we talk. Is it Robert Rock on this one or another rep?
Next week.
Should have mentioned that in the planning meeting, shouldn't we?
It's almost like it's all in front of anyway.
It's almost like it's written down here, isn't it? But one of the major things that I took from that Robert Rock chat, which you'll get, two things. I said to you, I'm just ashamed that I've had the gumption to call myself a golf pro.
He's a real pro.
Oh, what a pro.
That
like
man's
in terms
a real
of
pro.
the levels and the dedication of time he's put into that golf swing that we all think is just God-given natural talent. That has come out of the dirt. I can't even... You'll hear about how much he practiced back in the day and still does. He was like, I don't barely do anything nowadays. A practice session is like 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, God, I can't remember that.
Well, we're going off on a tangent here, but like a professional or any other sport, swimmer, you wouldn't be surprised if they were in the pool for 5 hours a day.
Yeah, but maybe there's something in that in golf. Like all of the guys I know who play at which is probably why I'm podcasting and not playing for and the guys that I'm talking about at club jobs and coaching and whatever else. An hour is like most people go, yeah, I had a good session today.
Not enough.
The man was doing like 8 to 10 hours a day, every day, not just like 8 hours to me back in the day as a junior would have been, turn up, chat to the lads in the shop for 2 hours.
That's part of the day's practice.
Hit 30 putts, go and play 9 holes, 15 frames of snooker, a cheese toasty, putting comp with someone else, and then go home. And it's like,
And now you sat here with an American studies undergraduate talking about golf.
And you'd be like, big day that was. Big day. I probably hit 200 shots. He's doing that in half an hour. But moreover, on an equipment point of view, I feel like we're going to rehash this later down the road, so I'll keep this top line.
This is why it's on top of your head, because we're about to talk about it in a couple hours' time.
He wouldn't even trust a lot of the tour manufacturers with his equipment. So he's like, these are the tools of my trade. And he went out and bought all of the equipment, whether it's Dela Cruz machine from getting exact loft and lie of drivers, loft and lie machines, swing weight machines, gripping stations. Like, he's like, why would I trust anyone else? He's like, I'm sure they're great at what they do, but it's not their gear. This is what I make my money with. I've got an obligation to learn this stuff and know about it. Hugely impressive. And he's trying to get that into a lot of the people he works with as tour players, and just very impressive.
Anyway, Mick, hope that answers your question about
we haven't even got to your question, have we? I'll sort of hijack that.
Can I just summarise? Can I AI summarise that?
Just name a pair of shoes.
No. Take my question seriously as well. What was his actual question? I'm AI summarizing your summary. Surely a high spin ball will lead to greater dispersion. Correct. Does the choice of ball even influence spin axis tilt? No, unless the core's not centered.
Correct.
Which is how we got down the avenue of cutting open balls, which we'll come on to. Shoes.
Yeah, come on, get on with it.
I'm off on my travels again tomorrow to go see Under Armour. Something very special is coming next year, which I'm obviously not allowed to talk about because embargoes and ridiculousness. But he wants to recommend a shoe with a thin sole. And I rave on about Painter, Joe. But the Painter 87 SC, Mick, the spiked one, thin sole, really low profile, but still comfortable, soft, grippy, techie. I'm just going to keep hammering home Painter until people talk about them more.
I wouldn't mind trying some Painter shoes. It seems to be coming more and more on my radar. Justin Rose has been wearing them. I'm sure I saw Jason Day wearing some of his
He's the one.
video.
He's designed his own.
Okay.
He's a big ambassador for Painter. He works closely with them to help design them.
There you go.
So there you go. I'd go for a Painter. But what I look at with shoes and when I recommend shoes, what do I go back to when I'm playing on my own, not testing, just as a pair of shoes I want? And the Adidas Tour 360s I had in January 2024 have now had nearly 2 years worth of wear out of them. Still look great, still feel great. They're a good shoe.
They're like they're on your Mount Rushmore of shoes, aren't
Absolutely. That'll be there when I'm dead, still talking about, when I'm on my deathbed talking about golf shoes.
We should do that as a social clip. We should have, I've seen those Mount Rushmores.
We
should do it for
should.
shoes and irons. And
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
That's a really good idea.
I told you this was a planning session.
It is, isn't it? And everyone gets to listen in on it.
Yeah, exciting.
Could be held accountable now, though, because this is being recorded.
Like that.
As well, Mick Footjoys, we've already had them. They are quite thick-soled. The Hyperflex shoe is quite thick-soled. But the Premier Series is fairly thin, if a little firm for my liking. Hope that helps.
Can I follow up with a Astropod of my own?
Yeah.
You did your social clip about staggers you that any pros would wear, sort of casual trainery style shoes.
Yeah.
Do you just not think they should be a thing in the game then?
No.
In terms of for optimal performance?
For optimal performance, no. Of course, wear them if you want. And as I said in the video, they're fine for, maybe not you swing it quite quick, but with the greatest respect, Mick, I don't know how fast you're swinging it. You could probably get away with a pair of trainers. The average listener could. But the pros, no.
Too many ground forces.
Every pro should be in spiked golf shoes.
Okay.
And why they're not is beyond me. A few people were like, oh yes, but those Nike trainers, they put spikes in them. I know, but the actual upper of the shoe is so soft. It's ridiculous to me anyway. So hope that helps, Mick. Thank you for both the questions. Hope we sort of got there in the end with the answers.
Dan, I really need a wee. We're right next to a gutter in this studio, and it's hammering down outside. It's just this constant trickle as you're talking, and I've never.
Is that what you can think about now? Yeah. Well, don't do it on.
No,
don't do it on air. And luckily for you, Joe, we're about to pass off to a pre-recorded interview with
Matt Wallace.
English golfer, very nearly squeezing that Ryder Cup. Did you hear that quite emotional interview he had after Switzerland, where he just missed out and a win could have squeaked him in ahead? But
I never think he was seriously in the picture for this one. When he was very, very unlucky, I think it was the Paris. I'm pretty sure it was the Paris edition, and he'd won like 3 times on. He basically had the same season that Marco Penja's having now, and also won the very last event leading up to it. I think it might have been the Italian or Danish or something like that. Shooting about 8 under on the back nine to do so, showing his mettle and how clutch he is, because he's a proper
he's a
clutch guy. He'd be a great Ryder Cupper, but it just hasn't quite happened for him yet. But
he's still got it in him for sure, hasn't he?
And there's another grafter, like I believe, from what I'm led to believe from other players, there's a man who spends a lot of time working and thinking at his craft. So good luck to him.
Well, let's find out what he has in his bag. Sam Dieth. Sam Dieth met up with him at Wentworth a few weeks ago. Do enjoy.
Okay, welcome guys. We are here today at Wentworth on the week of the BMW PGA Championship. Mr. Matt Wallace.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Good, yeah. Thanks.
It's a home game for you. We've just been talking about that off camera.
Yeah.
But today we're going to run through your equipment, what you've got in play this week, and kind of what you've been playing throughout the year. So we'll start with the top end of the bag. Yeah. What have we got as the big stick?
Ping. The old school Ping. The G430.
LST?
The LST. 10.8. I always put on the actual degree
Measured
of loft. Measured loft.
Okay, cool.
Whenever I'm using, because I always find I don't like switching out drivers or changing too much if I can. So whenever I put something in play like this driver, I need to know if I'm going to go to a new one. So like this is a newer one. I cracked my driver in Denmark a few weeks ago. So I tried to get something that's kind of identical.
As close as
possible, yeah.
And obviously, so non-contracted, got complete open pits.
Yeah.
How does that work in terms of like, obviously you've got the world, the world's your oyster, you can test whatever you like, but you've got an older product here. Is that just because you loved it so much when you first tested it?
I think, yeah, when I first tested, I remember I came back up here. I was a year out of contract from Callaway from my last deal. And then I was using the Titleist driver, and then I won with that in Punta Cana. And then I just struggled because I felt like I was traveling around the world a lot, like you say, and playing different places. My swing wasn't as tight as it probably needed to be, and I was hitting it around the face, and I wasn't getting as much of the consistency out of the shots that I needed. So I went back to something that I've obviously always liked as a kid, and where I felt like I got the most forgiveness from. And Dom from Ping came up here to Wentworth, and we started hitting this driver. And it's not the fastest driver, I don't believe, but it's the most forgiving for me.
Yeah.
So I started hitting more fairways, I gained more confidence, and I've stuck with it since. So I've tried the newer model, but the flight and the spin ratios for me are not as tight as this one. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Stuck with that then.
Yeah.
And you've got the Ventus TR Blue,
TR
was it?
Blue, yeah.
So you've kind of got that mid kick point shaft.
Yeah.
Is that a shaft that you've played with for a long time, or is
always been in a Ventus Blue, but just like you say, the kick point for me was the part that gave me that launch, and the spin numbers and stuff are way more tight than the old one that I was using. So that was straight in the bag. That was quite easy for me.
Awesome. And then we go to 3-wood, is it?
No.
Okay.
This is
okay, mini driver. You're a mini driver guy.
You're probably seeing a lot of these, but do you know what? This has been, I know you're probably going to have a lot of people say it's been like revelation in their bag and stuff. This genuinely has been one of the best clubs I've probably ever changed to.
Okay.
Notoriously not a great 3-wood player. Hit it amazing some weeks, and then some weeks it can be, the dispersion would be too big. I'd hit one 280, and then the next one I'd hit it out of the heel and it would be 240. So it's like too wide a dispersion rate. Notoriously been a great driver off the deck guy. So I was like, right, why don't we just try and see the mini driver, because don't have to tee it high off the tee. Always hitting it more towards the bottom, which is on the lower end of the distance, rather than catching it high on the face and it going miles.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because course setups now that we play, that 280 number is kind of an awkward number off a tee.
Okay.
This is perfect. And this is the first week I've actually played this golf course with the mini driver, and there's 3 or 4 holes where I'm 10 yards further up, and it's just made the hole that much easier.
Okay.
So yeah, each week it's been great. So
awesome. And so that's a predominantly off the tee club rather than kind of into greens.
Very rarely are we hitting a wood into par 5s or anything like that. We have done, and it is great for that, especially if it's a bit windy.
And you said you're a good driver for deck player,
and
so it's quite an easy move.
I prefer to hit this off the deck when I know I'm not going to hit it like high off the toe or anything that's going to rock it.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that slightly spinnier sort of flight if it's off the bottom. So I quite like that idea to it and that concept.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you got the Velocore Plus Blue in there as well. So similar profile.
Similar profile, obviously the newer shaft. They came to me with this and wanted me to test this. And as soon as I got it, Adrian at TaylorMade was brilliant. Actually dented at the Open in travel, dented the top of the face just in transit, obviously, somehow. So had to switch it straight over, and Adrian did a brilliant job for that, yeah.
Nice. And then I can see we've got a couple of driving irons in the bag.
Yeah.
You've kind of previously, we've talked about this, but you've kind of been a 7-wood player.
Yeah.
Switching in out on
done
course,
both. I remember putting the 7-wood in play. Again, quite interesting style, make up a bag, driver, mini driver, 7-wood.
Yeah.
But the 7-wood nowadays, I feel is like an old school 5-wood. It's that 245, 250 club for me. In America, when there's not as much wind, but you're going into the par 5s over there where it's firm greens, it's unbelievable. And the rough is a little bit thicker as well. So major championships, PGA, out of thick rough, you can cut it up out of there. So I wouldn't be using the long irons, the 2 irons. But then when we come back over to Europe, this 2-iron and 3-iron, the Ping, again in a Ventus shaft, like I was using the Titleist, the newer Titleist model.
U505.
That's it. And it's a smaller head.
Yeah.
So if you like that sort of like sharper look, smaller head, blends in with the rest of the irons, that's quite nice. I just struggled to look down at it and go, geez, that ball's looking massive.
Got on the 240 and you're
if I miss this, I'm toast. So I went to the Ping, slightly larger profile.
Yeah.
and it's been mega.
Awesome.
The
and that's the
3-iron
new one as well, the IDI.
Yeah, this is brilliant.
Awesome.
Quite large, like looking, but really good flight. And I have the 2 and 3, so I chop and change between the 2. I used the 2-iron last week in Cron. The 3-iron was just slightly too high for that week, and it was a bit windy, and you don't want the ball to stay up in the air too long. But there's a 10-yard gap, so it's a chop and change between those 2.
Gotcha. And then we go into, was it the Apex?
Yeah, or the X-Forged.
X-Forged CVs, yeah. So a few years old now?
Very, very old.
Yeah.
I got the new set. They sent me the new set to test out. I've got about 3 sets of these at home.
Okay.
So interesting. I used the model, the next model, the X-Forged, and I was struggling to fade the ball. I like to fade my irons mostly, and then I found out that there was more weight towards the heel.
Okay. So slightly different CG placement.
Yeah. So it was harder to keep the face open as much, and it wasn't curving to the right. I only found that out maybe 6-7 weeks into using them. So
not ideal.
No, it wasn't ideal, but I really liked the look of the clubs, and they were great. But then as soon as I went back to these, I was able to hold the face open a little bit longer, and it's just where the CG is in the head. So
and obviously these are a few years old, like we just said, and you said you've got a couple of sets.
Yeah.
Are you one of those guys who buys the heads off eBay to make sure you've got backups?
I will do next time if I need to, but I will test the new set at some point, and they look the same. So hopefully they'll be the CB ones, the new Callaway CBs. So yeah, hopefully they'll be the same.
And what shafts are you
This is the
playing
Modus.
Okay.
Are they 130s? I think so.
Yeah, or
I think
125 X maybe. Yeah. And that's a shaft that you've historically played, or is that something?
So funny story. We were in Germany 2018, and I was using the KBS C taper all black.
Okay.
Just purely on visual.
Yeah.
Absolutely no point looking at
like
it.
Every other golfer out there, it's like
I was like, they look sick. I want them. I went and won that week with them. Right?
Okay.
It was literally that week I put them in and I won with them that week. And then I realized I was using like a proper like steel rod, and I was giving no forgiveness, nothing. And then when the guys came over to me and started speaking to me about these clubs, these were unbelievable. They're just really consistent. They're great. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we move, so you go to a Vokey 46 rather than the set pitching wedge.
Yeah.
And then you blend that obviously through your wedges. You've got Vokey the whole way through.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that reason why you would go for a 46.
So spin profile.
Okay.
I found I was getting a few jumpers with my pitching wedges, especially out of the rough. The Vokeys, you just never get a jumper, really. I've never had a jumper with a wedge,
really
actually.
Consistent,
really consistent.
And
just and the blend of it as well. It's these are the scoring clubs. It's not a smash club. I don't need extra yardage. 9-iron, sometimes you need to get it to 160, 165, and I can probably do that step on that.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit easier, whereas the wedge, I would never be really looking at doing that. So,
and kind of 4-degree increments, and then we jump to obviously 6 degrees with the lob wedge just to give you a touch more height. Have you been a 58 or guy, or have you kind of always predominantly played a 60?
No, the 50, that's 55.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, always been a 60. So if it's 55, 58, that's too tight for me.
It's just
I've always
gapping.
been gapping. Yeah.
Nice. And then the putter, you got a really cool head cover on here.
Yeah, this is the open head cover that we got. The giant causeway and
very cool
bit
Odyssey.
Of fluff. I'm surprised it's held up, to be fair.
It's done well.
Yeah. But then obviously the Jailbird, the Cruiser.
Okay.
With the 2-thumb grip, longer 2-thumb grip.
And that's a grip you've played for a while now, right?
Yeah. Ever since I used the big one when I first came out on tour, and I was using the prayer grip. Now I'm a claw guy and conventional at most longer putts.
Okay.
But I mean, it's visually it's great. I tried to use less of the, I don't know, horizontal or vertical line, whichever way you'd use it, for my aiming.
Okay.
And it would be a little bit more flowy and try not to be so perfect.
Yeah.
But with the aesthetics and the looks of it all, it's quite easy to aim up and
we've always found
well.
kind of testing these putters with those horizontal lines as you look down on it, just so easy to square the face. You don't have to worry about that kind of linear look behind the ball.
So I get, like everyone probably out there, I get to trying to be too perfect with my aiming.
Yeah.
When actually that's probably the least of your worries. Like set up, try and be as close to your line as you want to, and then put a good move on it. So
Nice.
yeah, that's my bag.
What about golf ball? We'll end on golf ball.
Yeah, golf ball. Well, I'm a little bit of well, I don't like changing my clubs basically from week to week, from a sense of I need a new driver if it's not spinning as much or anything. So I started talking to Titleist and I was like, well, I'll just change the ball per week. So if we're somewhere cold and it's not spinning, I'll go to a spinnier ball. If it's hot and my spinnier ball's spinning too much, I'll go to one that's slightly less spin. So then I don't have to change anything.
Interesting.
So I started doing that maybe 2 years ago. And it's allowed me to be so like stuck in what I've got.
What you're using.
I'll change the clubs from what I know works for golf course setup between 7 wood or the irons. But ball, so like at the PGA this year, it was really hot. And just in our longer irons, I was getting no spin with the ball I was using. So I went to a spinnier ball.
Yeah.
And I was able to go into the long par 4s and the par 3s there without going over the back, because there's enough spin on the ball. So just purely on a week-to-week basis, I can chop and change that way rather than having to change the bag.
Awesome. And then we'll end on apparel. Obviously, JL.
J. Lindeberg, yeah.
Sponsor for a few years now. Looking cool on and off the course. Yeah. What do you like about the kind of equipment that they offer?
It's the best company I've ever worked with, probably. We do obviously as golfers, we got to do some golf days and the work that I do with J. Lindeberg, it's easy, it's fun. They're always pushing the boundaries. It's never boring. I think it's the best looking stuff out on tour. And it's great, they look after us tremendously. Everyone who I work with at J. Lindeberg is brilliant. So long may it continue. And it's been going on for a while now. So hopefully when I'm old and grey, it will still be going.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Matt Wallace, What's in the Bag.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Matt.
Cheers, bud.
Good work, Sam. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. A good old What's in the Bag. And another good tour pro to have ticked off on our list, Joe.
Sam's getting really good at these What's in the Bags. I thought I was good at them. No, he's sort of...
You got someone chasing you here.
Well,
I might have to do one in a few weeks with a certain interview I'm trying to line up. So yeah, get ready for that.
Okay, interesting.
But Sam is also out in the Philippines now, as we speak right now, with our friends at the International Series, hopefully securing some... I'm really excited for what it could be, and I can't announce it yet, just in case it doesn't happen. But good luck to Sam over there. Thank you very much. And that's it for another week, Joe. Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah. A bit all over the place, but we got some things out, didn't we? I hope
we got some things out. Yeah. Absolutely. We got our balls out, for goodness sake.
We did, yeah.
What are we doing next week? Well, you've alluded to it, Joe, but Robert Rock is coming on the podcast. One of my favourite men in the industry. I've met him a few times now. I know you get on really well with him already, which helps because then I'm around someone who already knows him. But he's just a lovely man. And you did a What's in the Bag with him up at Little Aston, a week or so ago now?
Yeah, let's not over-egg how well I get on with him. I like him a lot. I don't know how he feels about me, but our paths have crossed a few times now. We've got a mutual friend and he's just great. He's just a really nice guy. He's a funny guy. He's got a great swing. He's very handsome.
Good head of hair.
What a man.
So he'll be coming on the podcast.
Also, fascinating equipment insights as well. This is a guy that knows
This is a good Whitby. This is top shelf gear content coming up next week.
Yeah, I braced Jimmy Bullard for this, didn't I, on Instagram?
Yeah, he shared it on his story, actually. Yeah. We got a couple of great hours of pods about lie angles.
That will be fascinating. Ignore Daniel there, please.
Sorry, I'm being flippant again. So that's all coming up next week. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, comment, tell your friends. Nominations for Best 20 Clubs 21st Century. Let us know if you haven't already. And until then, Joe, thank you for your work as always.
Pleasure, Dan.
Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.